Let's talk about power for a little while, because for some reason, a lot of people have been going back and forth for what seems like ages. Saying Xbox will have the power advantage, or that the PS5 will have the power advantage when it comes to next generation consoles. Everyone under the sun seems to have an opinion on the matter, or some miraculous leak that shows which console will dominate in the power department. And while it's always great to speculate and see who's right and who's wrong, what really matters is the hard evidence that's being displayed by reliable sources that have been right in the past. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. A very, and I mean very reliable source has come out and given us hard evidence in specs for both the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 consoles respectively. And shockingly enough, the leak has put the Xbox Series X as the most powerful console by a very wide margin. It's something that's been hinted at for months and something that a lot of people all over the gaming community have been saying for some time now. And this isn't just a little power advantage that involves maybe one more blade of grass on a field or the difference between 900p and 1080p. No, this advantage that Xbox has is going to be substantial, and it's something everyone should be talking about. So this video is going to dive into exactly what this power advantage Xbox has over the PlayStation 5 really means. So let's get into this leak because it's very well put together. But before we do, if you like the video, hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support is greatly appreciated. Alright, so like always, people, this is a leak from a very reliable source, not to mention a lot of people that are in the know have said these specs are pretty much what will be in each console. So I don't think things will change that much in the next 10 months before these consoles release. So let's start off with the graphics processor, which if you look at this comparison side by side, you will see that the PS5 graphic processor will be a Navi 10 and have RDNA 1.0. Now that might be great technology and make things extremely easy to develop for, but it's not the cutting edge architecture that RDNA 2.0, that is with the codename Scarlet GPU, will have attached to it in the Xbox Series X. This architecture will be something we've never seen before in consoles, and it's going to set the Xbox far apart from the PlayStation 5. And if you continue to look at the comparison, it shows that the die size is far different. We have the PS5 at 251mm and the Xbox Series X at 350mm. Now this could be because the GPU has a lot more power in regards to straight brute force hardware, and it would make sense if it was bigger because of that. Either way you look at it, both GPUs are going to be monsters, yet the Xbox Series X GPU is far superior with cutting edge architecture and even more power. And we didn't even mention the transistors, which the Xbox console will again be at a huge advantage. Everything points to Xbox console being far more powerful on the GPU side of the consoles. Now for me, this means that Xbox didn't hold anything back in regards to this next gen console. It shows that they want to have the power advantage next generation no matter the cost. Because to have such a huge power advantage on the GPU side does show that Xbox didn't hold any expense. They pushed the limit with RDNA 2.0 and made a console that will be the leader in graphical performance no matter what game you play. But let's now talk about what most people love to hear about, and that's the teraflops attached to each console. Let's look at what the leak says both consoles have. If you look at this comparison again, you can see that the Xbox Series X has a huge advantage over the PS5, which is targeting 9.216 teraflops of power, while the Xbox is targeting 12.19 teraflops of power. This theoretical performance is something that really does separate the console dramatically. We aren't just talking about a couple of teraflops in separation or less than a teraflop of separation. We're talking about 3 teraflops of separation. That's a massive advantage in performance when it comes to a GPU. It's something that we haven't seen and is an even bigger advantage than we saw between the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X. And it's an even wider gap than what we saw between the Xbox One and the PS4 standard consoles. It all points to the GPU being a far better piece of hardware than anything else the competition will have to offer. Now, of course, both GPUs are great pieces of hardware that's developed by AMD, but it does showcase the Xbox Series X as the premier console on the market when it comes to the next-gen hardware. And of course, this has been talked about for months on end, and it's something that Xbox really seemed they wanted to do when they set out to make the new next-gen console. But let's dive into what exactly each console has inside and see what the leak has to say about both GPUs. Here's what the leak says about the PlayStation 5 console. The PlayStation 5 GPU will be a graphics card by AMD that is expected to launch in 2020. Built on the 7nm process and based on the Navi 10 graphics processor, the card supports DirectX 12.0. The Navi 10 graphics processor is an average size chip with a die area of 251 millimeters squared and 10,300 million transistors. Unlike the fully unlocked Radeon RX 5700 XT, which uses the same GPU but has all 2560 shaders enabled, AMD has disabled some shader units on the PlayStation 5 GPU to reach the product's target shader count. It features 2,304 shading units, 144 texture mapping units, and 64 ROPs. AMD has placed 16,384 MB GDDR6 memory on the card, which are connected using a 256-bit memory interface. The GPU is operating at a frequency of 2000 MHz, memory is running at 1750 MHz. Being an IGP card, the AMD PlayStation 5 GPU does not require any additional power connector. Its power draw is rated at 150 watts maximum. Now that's a pretty impressive piece of hardware that should get a lot of gamers excited because it does push the boundaries of what we've seen in consoles before. And it's a very powerful GPU that will give all developers on the Sony platform a place to make amazing games, especially when you look at what they've been able to make with the PS4 and PS4 Pro consoles. So it's going to be awesome to see what they can do with this piece of hardware in the next few years. But next up is the Xbox Series X, or as it says in the leak, the Scarlet GPU. Here's what it says. The Xbox Series X GPU will be a graphics card by AMD that is expected to launch in 2020. Built on a 7nm process and based on the Scarlet graphics processor, the card supports DirectX 12.0. The Scarlet graphics processor is a large chip with a die area of 250 millimeters squared and 14,500 million transistors. It features 3,584 shading units, 224 texture mapping units, and 96 ROPs. AMD has placed 12,288 MB GDDR6 memory on the card, which are connected using 384-bit memory interface. The GPU is operating at a frequency of 1700 MHz. Memory is running at 1750 MHz. Being an IGB card, its power draw is rated at 180 watts maximum. Now that's a piece of hardware that will truly set the benchmark for what developers will be able to do on a console. First party and third party developers will be able to take advantage of this GPU like no other on the market. It does scream high quality performance, and it's something that we as gamers should be truly excited to witness. No matter what platform you prefer or if you even play on console, this type of performance will push all gaming forward. It will push PC gaming forward, console gaming forward, you name it, and it will be pushing everything even further along. And I'm glad Microsoft decided to show up and make a console that would not only compete in performance and power, but it's also taking new technology and putting it into gaming, which costs a lot of money, which is what I want to talk about next, the money that these consoles will cost us. As we see, the Xbox Series X is clearly the more powerful console, which might come at a price. And if I had to guess, it will probably be around $100 more than the PS5 console, which is standard, especially when it means you get far better performance, and maybe Sony is okay with coming in $100 cheaper and getting the console in a lot more people's hands. Now, I don't think that Xbox will take a loss on the console and put the Xbox Series X at the same price of the PlayStation 5, so I expect this console to be $100 higher than the PS5. All the while, the Lockhart console that's been hinted at for so long now will be the cheapest console on the market, and Xbox will have the most powerful and expensive console, all the while having a very powerful yet least expensive console on the market at the same time. It's almost like a two-front war will happen. But as for what I think about all this, I have to say it's not surprising to see these types of specs to come out. We've heard for months now about people talking about the Xbox Series X console being extremely powerful. We've had Xbox executives act a little confident about the performance they are about to give all their fans. We've had insiders talking about the performance about the Xbox console for months and even saying it's going to blow people away. All the while, Sony and PlayStation has honestly been very quiet for the last couple of months, which is very out of character because usually when Xbox builds momentum or has something cool to announce, Sony is right there to put out those fires and announce something awesome themselves. But for the last couple of events and announcements, they've been silent and haven't said anything. Could it be all the turnover at the company? Maybe, but to me it does feel like the PS4 Pro launch announcement. They were very silent on the console and didn't even bring it to E3. And when they did announce the console, it felt like a show they couldn't wait to finish because they knew the Xbox One X was a far more powerful console and had a way better performance. And maybe I'm reading into this too much, but it feels like history is repeating itself. Maybe PlayStation knows what Xbox has, and they know that Xbox will have the power narrative on their side this coming generation, which is something that helped Sony so much when the PS4 and the Xbox One launched. They had the power and price. It propelled them to winning the generation and also winning the minds of gamers. So maybe with all this power and all these new studios and all this new money going into Xbox's gaming platform, Microsoft is going to make a huge dent in the gaming market. And the first thing they want to do is show people just how serious they are. And this GPU performance advantage is a huge statement by a company taking gaming very serious. But enough about what I think. Tell me what you think about all of this. Do you believe this leak saying that the PS5 is 9.2 teraflops of power? Is the Xbox Series X really at 12.19 teraflops of power? Will this power advantage change which console you buy? What will this do to the gaming market? Are you happy that Xbox has come with the power advantage? Are you disappointed that Sony didn't come better prepared? Does power matter to you? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support helps out the channel more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my latest videos. And also follow me on Mixer. I recently started streaming on Mixer because I find the community much more engaging and fun. So if you want to hang out and chat with me, I'm very active with my chat and always playing games. The links will be in the description. I hope to see you guys there. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.